Hey everybody, I hope you are having a wonderful day. My name is Marsha Sirkin, and I'm here with NCBOLD to have a little chatty about Hattie with you. This is an interactive session. Even though it's virtual, there's lots of spaces for you to reflect, to post what you think, to explore some sites, to hear some information about Hattie, and also to share with other educators. So to make this a little more bold, we are going to use Nearpod to make this interactive. I'm going to play this video for you going through each piece, but then for you to hear the videos that are embedded in my presentation. In order for you to respond in some of the spaces, you're going to need to go to Nearpod. There are 3 different ways you can do this. You may go to open up another tab and go to join.nearpod.com and then put in the code EGF76. Or you may go to the app, the Nearpod app on your device, and put in that code. Or your third option is to scan this QR code, and it should take you to the Nearpod session as well. All right, go ahead and pause this video, open up your new tab, or open it up in the app, or scan the QR code, and we will get started. Okay, let's have a chatty about Hattie. I'm hoping that you opened up another tab or participated in scanning the QR code or using the Nearpod app to join us in this interactive session. I'm playing part of it on my screen, and then at different times I'm going to ask you to pause this video and then go to your Nearpod activity to participate, because learning is not a spectator sport. Before we get started, let's go ahead and connect. Before you expose anyone to content, it's time to think. It's really important to connect with one another. I would like you to think about David. I love David. And one of the reasons why I love David is he is all in his feelings. So how are you feeling today? I would like for you to open up your Nearpod activity. Click on the drawing tool and circle how you're feeling today. I am at a 7. The only reason I'm not at an 8 is because we are not together in the same room right now. Okay? So we have the next best thing. So I'm a 7. But if we see each other, I'm going to be at an 8. Okay? If you do a really great job with the collaborative pieces, you're going to bump me up to a 10 maybe. We'll see. All right. So circle where you are. Pause this. Circle where you are on your David scale and hit submit. All right. My name is Marsha Sirkin. I am a true North Carolina girl. I was born in the mountains in Yadkin County, went to Appalachian State University. I grew up in Rockingham County in the Piedmont, and now I'm a digital learning coach in Carteret County Schools at the beach. I've been in all 3 regions of the state for major parts and pieces of my life, and I've loved every bit of it. I am the mother of 2 wild boys and a dog. And I love teaching in Carteret County Schools here. I also have made it my mission to help make classrooms more interesting, motivating, relevant, and fun for children. Because my children are in these schools. Your children are in these schools. Our children are. And we want to make it great. All right. Today's goal is to explore what works versus what works best. And I'm going to give you some tools to help you figure it out. Okay? Not every classroom is the same. Not every teacher is the same. We're all very different. But we've all faced this pandemic and some adversity lately. So this right here is going to be a treasure that you're going to want to share and learn more about. Okay, you're like, who is Hattie? Or you may already know Hattie, and you're like, oh, I want to hear more from him. John Hattie actually was a professor at UNCG, not during my time in college, but he was there for a year as a visiting professor, and he got to be the department chair for a year, which is very interesting. So you may be watching this and participating in this and thinking, I know John Hattie. He's awesome. Let's hear what he's got to say. Or you may be like, what is this? What's going on, Marsha? I want to know what you're trying to sell me, okay? I'm not trying to sell you anything but a wonderful idea. So pause this video and listen to what John Hattie has to say. I forgot to tell you that part of the goal is also to laugh. So I hope that was a little funny for you. So I would really love for us to collaborate with one another and to share what we know. I love using Twitter for that. Twitter is my professional platform. I don't own it, but it is my professional platform. Whenever I go to a conference or go to a session, I typically have a hashtag, and I like to use that hashtag to share what I'm learning to make other people feel like they're learning too with me. Also, NCBOLD is such a huge movement in North Carolina. So let's say that you post something about what you're learning in here, and you use the hashtag NCBOLD22. That's going to draw others to this because this movement has grown into something that's more than a 1 day. It's more than a 2 day. This is just a way of thinking, and I really love how our digital teaching and learning team have really enhanced that. Another hashtag is hashtag Hattie. The third one is NCDTL, and that stands for North Carolina Digital Teaching and Learning. A lot of us use that when we're using those digital teaching and learning ISTE standards for students or the digital teaching learning standards for professionals, all those things. And if you don't know about those things, check them out. They're very interesting and just good teaching all around. Or you can use the hashtag NCED. These are great ones that fit right along with what we're talking about today. So, here's John, and he wants to know, what are your top 3 most successful teaching practices? Okay, so on this next slide, I'm going to pause. No, I'm not going to pause. You're going to pause. You're going to pause, and you are going to go over to your Nearpod, and I want you to think about when you're teaching someone, whether it be adults, whether it be children, your dog, I don't know. We all love to teach. I'll teach anything that'll listen. Right now I'm teaching my computer, but it's actually you right now. So I want you to think about your top 3 most successful teaching practices. When you know you're going to do this, they're going to learn it. Okay. And I want you to put it in here. I'm really interested in knowing what really works for you. Okay. So I want you to put your answer in here, and then you're going to hit the submit button. And I want to highlight this little button right here that's in your Nearpod. This is called Immersive Reader, and it's a universal symbol for Universal Reader. You may have seen it on other technology platforms, but you can click that and it will read the question for you. If you're in a different language, it will read the question in a different language. You can click on words to find out meaning. It's just a really neat tool. And another reason why I love this platform, because it has that just built into it. I don't have to put it in there. It's just there. So go ahead and pause your video and put in your top 3. Well, I say top, but it could be 3, 4, 1 teaching practices. What attributes do they have? Okay, good news. Most things that we do in a classroom have a positive impact on learning. Most things that we do. Isn't that wonderful to know that even on our worst days, we're still having a positive impact? Now, I'm going to help us quantify that, though. I say I. Hattie's done this, and I'm sharing it with you. But we've taken all this time with this pandemic, and If you're from Eastern North Carolina, we've had a lot of natural disasters with hurricanes. We had an earthquake the other day. Anyway, that didn't really do anything, but it just was weird. But we've had a lot of time that we need to catch up with. And we've learned in education that they never really move the goalpost in the favor of our students. So, and if anything, they move it farther away. They never move the goal closer. So, and they haven't. So we have to take what we have and go, okay, which plays are going to be the best? So we need to quantify what we're doing. And Hattie has done that with his research. And I just think it's remarkable. So we're going to look at that. I'm going to show you different modes, but don't worry. Some of these you're going to think, oh my goodness gracious, Marsha, you're blowing my mind. That's how I felt too. So I want you to experience that with me. So this is, you don't have to memorize this because I'm going to show you a much better tool, but I felt like this was a good visual to get started with. So Hattie has taken everything that we do in classrooms that you could think of. Everything that happens to children when they're learning, okay? And what effect size does it have? Does it have a negative effect size? Does it have a positive effect size? And that's a lot, okay? That's a lot to think about. So I want to kind of put a little perspective to it so that as we're quantifying these things and looking at what happens in the classroom, I want you to think about what do those numbers mean, okay? So I loved this little color-coded chart from Visible Learning from the Corwin site. And we want to shoot for, when we are accelerating learning, when we are trying to get the best bang for our buck with our children in the day. We don't want to extend the school day. Lord, no. But with the time that we have them, what can we get the most effect out of? So we've said that most things have a positive effect, but there are things that have a negative effect, okay? And reverse. But we want to look at 0.4. So he's quantified it all, but we want to look at 0.4 and above, okay? Because that helps us get those desired effects quicker, all right? So I just want you to kind of get an idea of the zone of desired effects. That's the 0.4 and above. That's where we want to be most of the time, okay? Now, does that mean that you don't want to reduce class sizes because it's here? No, that's not what that means, okay? That means you just want to shoot for here most of the time. But some things have, they're still positive, okay? All right. So I'm going to scare you with this. Look at this. This is the first exposure that I ever had of Hattie. And there's no screen big enough to show all this. And you're not supposed to see it all. But when I was first exposed to Hattie, it was a long list of things. And it showed whether it had a positive effect or a negative effect. And that was it. And it had a number and a name. And that was it. So I was like, oh, I got to see about this. Oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. But that was about it. And I would say, oh, that's not a very good Hattie scale. And people would look at me like I had two heads, not knowing what I was talking about. Then I would show them this chart and they would think, what? Huh? And it would kind of come and go. It was useful for the time, but they've really upped the ante. This is not very user-friendly compared to what I'm about to show you, okay? But before I show you a better version, we're going to talk about the top and why. Okay, the top effect sizes and why. So we have some of these things with reported grades. They're active elements in their learning, and this is why. Okay, feedback. With feedback, the speed of learning doubles after effective feedback. We are more than just assignment givers. If we just act like assignment givers, then that's all we're going to be. And we can be easily replaced. But that feedback cycle is so important. And, I'm going to probably hurt some feelings when you see praise, punishment, and rewards are least effective. Well, a number of years ago, about a decade ago, I guess, I was working with the Frank Porter Graham Institute with the First School Project. Oh, my goodness. If you haven't heard about it, look it up. It's amazing. And I got a lot of exposure with people who were studying motivation. And Dr. Adam Holland, I heard him 3 times speak about motivation. He was like, Marsha, you need to get rid of your behavior charts. I was like, no, I love my clip charts, my star chart. You can get on gold. And those are praises and rewards. And if you did not get on the right color, you had your punishment. And I thought I was money, okay? And I listened to him a few times, and then finally the 3rd time, and I had a really good class. I decided to get rid of punishment rewards. I love to praise children. So I feel like I like to be praised, but I got rid of those things, and it really upped the ante in my classroom and learning experiences. So if you're interested in that, you can look into some of the Hattie tools and some research behind that. Phonics instruction, classroom management, parental involvement, cooperative learning. There's a reason why a lot of these things are, things that we strive for every day. Okay? Things that are on our observation rubrics because they are directly related to student learning. And then the bottom ones, things that they don't have such an effect size that we thought they did. And this is really, some of this is really surprising to me. Okay. So I want you to, I'm not going into the why on here. This is just a little taste, and I'm going to give you the tool to figure out the why yourself. Okay. So, hold tight. Think about what might you could cut out of your practices that you already do that might be on here that probably isn't doing as much as you thought it was. Or maybe you want to read a little more because it makes you mad. That's okay. We are in the business of thinking about thinking. All right. So you're probably like, I don't know, Marsha, you've got me thinking. I have my feelings. I might be at a different number now. So I'm going to show you this tool that's really awesome. I'm going to walk you through it and give you some examples. And then you're going to pause your video and you're going to spend some time with it yourself because it's awesome. Okay. So this is the visible learning site. I'm going to share it with you now. When you do this, I want you to bookmark the site. But this is the Visible Learning Meta, and it's sponsored by Corin, but it's also on Hattie's Research. This is a free site for you to go to. Okay. So what it is it's all of the effect sizes, but it's in this beautiful spreadsheet. I love a spreadsheet, y'all. But you can scroll over and you can look at effect size, and you can sort things by their effect size. Okay, look, anger, not so good. But it's not just a spreadsheet. It is so much more. So we see that anger is likely to have a negative impact. But what does that mean? What does anger mean? Sometimes I use my anger for good, to fuel my fire. What does it mean? So you click anger, and it's going to give you the definition. Anger in learning can occur when students face difficulties or blocks moving toward a desired goal, and when students see the demands or tasks as unfair. Okay, so that has a negative effect on student learning. Now, you're thinking, well, how does he know that? Okay. Well, in 2019, there was a doctoral dissertation in Australia, and it studied 28,576 students. Okay? You can take the research article to support that. You can go into NC Wise Owl, find the article, or if you're part of a university, you can put that article in, grab it, read it for yourself, and see what they're talking about. Okay, so it's more than just a name and a number. You get a definition. You see the who's been studied. Really awesome. Let's look a little more. Let's dive a little deeper. See what else we can see. I know you're so ready to get your hands on this, okay? Let's say that I want to go here, and we do have it's kind of a Miss Sirkin's. I love some technology, okay? So I'm going to look at the technology domain, okay? And so here are all the things in the technology domain, okay? So I just sorted it. I can sort it alphabetically. Really neat, okay? I can go over here and sort it by the influence, the effect size. So one of the, this is all things that have to do with technology. Virtual reality. Let's look at virtual reality. What does it mean? Provides simulations and augment reality to help students experience activities. That's a great impact size. We're shooting for 0.4 and more, okay? Here are the research articles to support that. Now, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm kind of an oddball. I've always been a square peg or a round peg trying to fit in a square hole, or vice versa. But sometimes in my classroom, we have some fun, and we're a little unconventional, and people would go, "Why are you doing that? I wish I had this then, so I could say, this is why I'm doing that. Here's the research to support it." Instead of me having to dig for it, it's all right here, and that is really awesome. I love that. So that's really neat. Okay, let's look at a couple more things, and then I'm going to turn you loose and let you spend some time at it yourself. So we have teaching strategies. Let's take teaching strategies. There's feedback. One of my favorite. This is my favorite F word, feedback. Cognitive task now. What does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, I know what that means, but do you know what that means? Here we go. This is the definition. Here's some more research to support it. Okay. Lots going on. There's little sliders here, not the cheeseburgers, but you can look for studies that have the most. Okay. You can look for just effect sizes at 0.4 and above. Okay. When it comes, and you can clear your criteria here. There's so many things. Parent involvement. There's a reason why this is so important with Title I. Let's see, parent involvement. Let's look at this one. Look at that effect size, 0.4 or more. Look at all the research to support that. Do you think that might be why that's most people's IndyStar goal? That's something that we've kind of lacked with this year, with our COVID year, because we haven't been able to have our parents in the schools as much, and we got to get back to it. And this research, this glorious research, is why. Okay? And I love that this research is worldwide. It's not just here. It's everywhere. I love it. Okay, so pause this video, and I want you to go over, and in the Nearpod, this is built in, but then you can also go and put it in your bookmarks so that you can go back and visit it anytime. And you're going to want to share it. You're going to want to share it with other people, because this is a treasure. Some things you should not keep to yourself. So pause me and take some time for yourself. All right. So, there's even more than that meta site. And I hope you've spent some time with it, and I hope you've bookmarked it so that you can go back to it and share it with your teams at school, with your leadership team, anybody who will listen, PTO, your administrator, if you're an administrator, your district. I want to share this really great book with you. During the pandemic, my digital teaching and learning team wrote a grant with DPI, and it was to do a book study district-wide. We had people apply from all over the county, and we selected 2 from every school to do a book study on a book called The Distance Learning Playbook. And it was written by Fisher, Fry, Smith, and Hattie. Yes, our sweet John Hattie. And it was such a good book. And I found myself highlighting it and post-it noting things and sharing and talking. Anybody that would listen, I talked to them about it. And I was like, this isn't just for the pandemic. This is just good teaching. This is great strategies. And then this year, after, things got over, I was like, oh, we're not virtual learning anymore, but this is really good. You should look. We're not virtual learning anymore, but this is what you should do. I mean, my district wasn't, but yours might be still. And we also have the virtual public school. I mean, there's so many good, great things, but there's so much to learn. I think if we taught the way we did before the pandemic, that would really be malpractice, in my opinion. There's some things that was really great to return to, like some rich manipulatives, some like interpersonal connections, really close, to one another in small groups. Those are really great. But as far as like what we've learned with blended learning, we're new. We're different now. Our children are different, and we can do so much more. So never let a catastrophe go to waste. So take what you learned during that virtual learning time and go, oh, what was great about that? What did the children really respond to? What helped my workflow? What helped, improve student agency? So some things were damaged during the pandemic, rightfully so. So now there's a book called Rebound, and it's written by the same guys and lady, and it is about rebuilding agency. And Hattie contributes some effect sizes in here. There's lots of templates. You're going to want to get a pack of highlighters and maybe a second book, because you're going to mark that sucker up, and then you're going to want to share it with someone. I'm always sharing mine with others. So it's really great. It's worth your money. And if you are a leader in some capacity, whether it be with your district or your school or the state, Leading the Rebound is a great companion book to that. I haven't bought that one yet, but I'm going to. It's on my list. But this is about reestablishing the agency and thinking about, what did we learn? Let's rethink schools. Do we have to be a cookie cutter? No way. Accelerated learning, getting the most bang for our buck now that we have our children back with us. So, really good stuff. Take a look at it. All right. So, Hattie has his effect sizes, but he also has this, he's like, it's not all about the effect size. It's about mindset. They're paired together. You got to, you have to have some blooms in there. And so we're talking about mind frames here. Okay. So you're going to pause me, and you're going to go on the next slide where they really go a little deeper into the mind frames, 8 different mind frames. And when you're done with the video, you're going to go to the next slide after that. And I want you to kind of reflect. And I want you to think, of the 8, what is something that you can really try to improve upon this school year, whether it be the upcoming school year or your current school year or today, whatever time frame you choose. What are you going to try to improve upon? What mind frame? Okay. And that's just, we don't take enough time as educators to reflect. So take that time to reflect. Pause me. I'm doing too much talking. You do some talking to yourself, do some manifesting, and then come back to me. Okay, so I've given you a lot. I've given you some great tools, given you some things to think about and to reflect on and to share, but you're like, Marsha, that's a lot, okay? I need you to simplify it a little bit. What are the 3 most important things I can do? So, Hattie has this wonderful YouTube channel, and he answers specific questions. It's also on his website for visible learning. So these questions are posted, and then he has answers. And I found this one to be very profound, and very helpful for our conversation, our virtual conversation with Hattie. So pause this video, and I want you to hear what Hattie's response is to this question from the teacher leader in Texas. Okay. I like to make it fun, y'all. We've laughed, and now we can compete. One of the really neat things about this platform with Nearpod is you can play the game. So you are going to be competing with other educators who are in this session at different times, which is really neat. You might be in your classroom. You might be in your pajamas at home. Who knows? You might be by the beach. But now you can test what you know. Test your knowledge about what you've learned so far. Pause me and play the game. Okay, so we're about at the end, but I love a prize, don't you? I have these prize packs, hats. I'm hoping to have some temporary tattoos because those are fun, even for adults. Hoping to have maybe some stickers. I don't know, maybe a cup or two. I don't know. So I already have the hats. They're really cool. So in this next piece, you're going to pause me and you are going to fill out the collaborative board right here. And I want you to just kind of take your ideas and think about your next steps. What are you going to do? Okay. Put your Twitter handle in if you have one, or your email address. And I'm going to pick one or more unique responses to send a prize to you in August. You can use words, images, videos, whatever. And then I'm going to probably pick more than one. And I am going to send a prize pack to help remind you of some of this awesome stuff that you've learned today. And to start some conversations. I tell you, if you walk around with a hat that says #Hattie, people are going to go, what is that? And don't worry, I love fashion, so it will be beautiful, okay? So, Buzz, is this about the prize? No. Remember, we're supposed to cut that out, but I'm a material girl in a material world, okay? And this just is making it fun, okay? But it's not about the prize. It is about the opportunity for us all across the state to collaborate. I didn't even mean to make that rhyme. So this is our collaboration piece. So put what you think your next steps are. Someone else may see it and go, ooh, I'm going to do that. Okay? So get creative. Think about it. Post it, and hopefully you might be one to get a prize. Okay? I love seeing, folks from my sessions out in the wild, whether it be Twitter or at conferences or virtual meetings. So, let's connect on Twitter. If you have any questions, email me, message me. I can't wait to see what you've learned and what you do with it because, Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So I hope that you take this and you share it and you use it for good for teaching and learning. And it's been an honor to be with you, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. Have a great day.